Yo, what up, random? How we doing? That name's too long for me to read every time I address you. Sorry. How we doing? Right, stick that down there. MJ, what's up? I'm doing good. Glad to hear that. What up, Soul Reaper? How we doing? Alrighty. We've got a pretty sweet build today. We've got another stealth build. We will have to turn off. There's a couple of LEDs built into this motherboard that we'll have to turn off. But other than that, there is zero RGB. The CPU cooler does have an LCD screen on it, so he can kind of do with that as he likes. But this is gonna be a sick build today. So we've got the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. We haven't built with one of these yet. We've built with couple of the other Core Ultras, but most people just go AMD these days. So pretty cool. 20 core processor. We've got 48 gigs of RAM, 4 terabytes of storage between those two SSDs. We've got the RTX 5070 Ti, Z890 motherboard. It's a ROG Strix, Thermalright 360 AIO, and a 1000-watt power supply. And if you couldn't tell yet, this guy said, hey, I am an absolute slut for Asus, is basically what he said. I'm sorry, those are his words, not mine. Don't hate me, TikTok. That was what he said. So we went with an Asus motherboard, an Asus GPU. Words failed me for a second. We got an Asus GPU. We've got an Asus power supply. The only reason we didn't go Asus for the case or for the CPU cooler, it's just really expensive to go with Asus, and it's hard to find one that doesn't have any RGB. For the case, he really liked the look of the case for my Intel Signature build, which has since been updated. It doesn't have this case anymore, but he really liked the look of that when it was on the website, and so he said, I want it in that case, but I want to make a couple changes. So that's what we did. As much Asus as possible, and it's gonna look great. So, I think it's time to build. Well, let's get to it. How is everybody doing? What's going on? Okay, now that I'm up and moving, I definitely don't feel like I need my heater anymore. So I'm gonna turn that off. Okay. He said, Asus me. That's exactly what he said. He said, give me all of the Asus that you can. And I said, deal. All right, so first we got this ROG Strix Z890-H gaming Wi-Fi. Maverick, what's up? You seem like a cool dude to chill and have a beer with. I would love to just hang out with people and have a beer. Sounds great. Who cares if we decide to hold hands? It's completely natural. You know, as long as you've washed them recently, I guess that's okay. All right, well, let's take a look at this motherboard. The one hard part about higher end stealth builds is the higher end you go, the more likely the motherboard is to have RGB. So we'll just have to disable the RGB for the motherboard because he doesn't want it. I mean, he could turn it back on if he decides to, but we're turning it off. What up, Chad? The CPU is going to be an Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. Let's see, is there anything in here that we want? Shouldn't need anything out of there. We can grab it later if we want it. Just a couple of buddies hanging out. Exactly. Yeah, I'm in. Everything that happens in this stream will be in English. Sorry, my Spanish is not great. I can speak some Spanish, but it's not great. The performance is solid. I think really the catch is like the price to performance between Intel and AMD has some disparity, but the Core Ultra 7 is a great gaming CPU. Like, there's no doubt about that. The nice part about some of the Intels is like for people who are single PC gaming and streaming, they have a lot of cores, so you got a lot of extra bandwidth to run all of your stream processes in the background. That is nice. I can speak a little bit of Spanish. Un poquito. Okay, let's get our CPU in there. How about that? I can probably read Spanish better than I can speak it, if I'm being honest. But I know some Spanish. Can usually get the context at least. All right, Core Ultra 7 going in. Okay, make sure we got the right direction on here. It looks pretty good. Get that little wiggle going. Oops. Don't do that at home, ladies and gents. There you go. Usually helps if you get the latch underneath that. All right, let's get some SSDs going out here. We've got two identical 2 terabyte SSDs. These are Samsung 990 Pros, specifically requested by the customer. They're a little bit more expensive, but you know, you get really good speed, and you know, Samsung has good quality stuff, so no concerns there. Like my i7 core you put in my PC does fine for gaming and streaming. There you go, see? Yours was a Intel i7, right? Like the 14th gen or 13th gen? Okay, here's that. Slot that right in there. Okay, got that. This plastic off. Nope, we're not gonna get it with our finger. This is gonna have a 5070 Ti. All right, let's see, this guy hooks on there, slide down, lock in place, done. All right, and then let's M2_2. Let's double check. Sometimes on these higher end motherboards, some of these M.2 slots share bandwidth. So let's just make sure that we use one that doesn't share bandwidth if they do. It might not tell me on here. It's not gonna tell me on here. We could roll the Russian roulette, but let's just double check. How's everybody doing today? Happy Friday. C890-H gaming Wi-Fi. No. That GPU alone is almost $1,000. So I think this is a I want to say like $2,700 builds, $2,500 builds. Just the CPU and GPU alone are going to get you close to $1,500 just in part cost, and that does not, you know, doesn't cover my labor or shipping or taxes or any of that. Let's see, what was the price? $2,900. So lots of storage, lots of memory, high-end components. He got a laser engraved logo on his glass, and then obviously like build fee, ship fee, all that stuff. This is gonna have 32 gigs of RAM. I put my phone away and I wasn't done with it. Okay, goodbye bot. Nobody knows who you are. Okay, let's take a look at the manual. Prices are really expensive these days, dude. It's, I wish I mean, like, I can offer much cheaper builds than this, but yeah, component pricing is just really expensive. Quick start guide, user manual, English, download. Let's look at that. All right, so I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but I'm gonna show you what I'm looking for. So M.2_1 slot supports 5.0 mode. That doesn't matter, these are Gen 4s. Slot 2, slot 3 and 4. Yeah, there's no mention of shared bandwidth in there. Let's double check down below. Usually it would say right there if it shares any bandwidth, but we'll check in the SSD installation section. Talks about RAID. Nope, okay, they don't share bandwidth at all, so we can use any of these slots. We're gonna use this one here. Dope. Ryuma, that's Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. Prices are keeping you from getting a PC. That's fair. Prices have gone up a lot in the last few years, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they went down after all the craziness of COVID with just like there not being any GPUs available. But yeah, they've come back up too. Power supply is 1,000 watts. So definitely a little bit oversized, but it's a pretty hungry CPU. And I try to make it to where in normal usage, you would never use more than 80% of what the power supply is capable of. And that's just for longevity of the power supply. So I jumped up to a 1,000 watt when we went to a 5070 Ti with the Core Ultra 7, because that can pull like 250 watts at times. All right. There we go. Okay, got our SSDs in there. It's good to go. We don't need that anymore. Let's get our RAM installed. Should make me a mod. I can handle that stuff for you. I got it. Unless it starts becoming a real problem, I don't think I need any more mods. Granted, my mods are not here very often, but that's okay. I think it was more important for me to have mods when I was gaming, because it was really hard to like stop gaming and be able to like remove comments and stuff. But while I'm doing this, it's super easy. Like I have my mouse right there. Okay. 48 gigs of RAM going in. Here's 24. There's another 24. Apogee, what's up? Okay, we're going to use CPU fan for sure. Man, those things like do not like coming off. I swear I always have to use my pliers to get these guys off. So CPU fan, we're definitely gonna use. My goodness. AIO pump fan, we're definitely going to use. CPU optional, we likely won't use. We can leave that there. We've got a bunch of other fan support down below. Cool. That is all ready to go. Let's check. I believe we're going to have to add some mounting stuff on here for our CPU cooler, so we'll do that now. I'm doing good, Apogee. What up, Vito? Just built my PC with the Antec C7. That's a great case. I like a lot of Antex products. What up, Husk? Good to see you. Velocity, what's up? All right, so we need 1700 because 1850 and 1700 are the same mounting wise. We need that cable. We're going to need those brackets. We're going to need this bracket. And that should be it. Put those to the outer spot like that. Pull these covers off the plastic. Or oh, it's foam tape, not plastic. Okay. And you just stick that right through there. Give it a little press for that tape to stick on. Just like that. And I'll hold that out for a second. You're the first English man to pronounce my name correctly? Oh, no way. I work with a lot of folks from India, like in my day job. So got an okay, I guess, at saying people's names from that part of the world. Okay, and then this guy has it on top and bottom. So these are likely gonna go this way. Usually in the center, like that. We'll just get these guys started. That is totally fine. That does not bother me whatsoever. Yeah, I mean the name kind of gives it away, right? Like different areas of the world have like different sounds, you know, like in their language that you can recognize. And I feel like India is pretty, it's pretty unique. Like the sounds of like names and stuff. I can still just use only super chat, no stickers. That's so weird. I don't know, Husk. I'm in Idaho, which is in the US. Okay, got everything we need out of here. And close that up, put her back in the box, and toss it down here. Okay, don't need this anymore right now. Love pre-installed fans. Thank you, Thermalright. And then let's tighten this down. Yeah, Husk, I don't know. They did the same for me. You have to put this thing on behind the motherboard. Yeah, it depends on what model what you're using. So with Intel, you pretty much always have to put a bracket back there with studs to mount to. AMD has a back plate that's already on there. So you either use the pre-installed brackets that come with AMD and you just like hook onto them, or you pull those off and you bolt into that back plate. Intel, for whatever reason, has not ever done that. And so you have to put your own bracket in. And your own, like whatever that the CPU cooler comes with. But there you go. So now the CPU cooler is just gonna bolt right into those two guys. And we're all set. We're ready to get our case out here. Let's swap to that real quick, and we'll swap you guys over to that real quick. Disabled and on disability, I want to do a gaming PC, but obviously on a tight budget. Brandon, try typing ! Discord. I don't know if it's working on that chat right now. But I would say, let me know what your budget looks like. You can message me on Discord. Let me know what your budget looks like, and we can, I can help you put together a build list, bro. That way it'll be super easy. All right. Sometimes I forget sometimes how big this case is. They made it so much bigger with this this model year. Just gotta get this guy out of here. Okay, we're gonna put that back. All right, there we go. Oh, that's a big old honking case. Goodness. So is it Battlefield 6 breaking PCs or people incorrectly changing to secure boot? It's not Battlefield. The problem with with trying to enable secure boot is there are several reasons why it could go wrong. If you have like a really out-of-date BIOS, it could go wrong. If you don't have TPM 2.0 enabled, it could go wrong. Some older hardware just is not secure boot compatible. So like that could stop it from working. There's a handful of reasons why it might not work. I think 6x32s is what NZXT uses for their motherboards. Come on. There we go. What GPU and CPU combo would you recommend for a budget of $1,500 to $1,900? $1,500 to $1,900. I would say get like, I mean, honestly, probably like a 9700X and a 5070 maybe. Because that's $600 for the 5070 and another $300-ish for the 9700X. So that puts you at $900, and then that gives you a healthy budget for, you know, a good motherboard, power supply, all that sort of stuff. And if you're building it for someone, obviously you need to account that like some of that budget needs to be to pay you, unless you're doing it for free. What up, Dave? Just thinking last night I needed to send you a message for advice. Well, ask away. Huh? What the heck? Why does that feel cross-threaded? What's going on here? I swear the 6x32s are the right ones. That's what NZXT's always used. I'm double checking the manual. This is literally what they've always used. So I don't know why those bolts keep feeling like they're cross-threading. Six by 32s motherboard installation. Yeah, why do none of these bolts feel like they're going in right? That one feels good. This is the NZXT H7 Flow, Robin. Yeah, there's so many good cases on the market. It's hard to pick one. Yo, thank you for all those likes on TikTok. What am I gonna do with the PC? This is a customer build. It's pre-sold. Recommendations on laptops? Oh gosh. I mean, there's no like custom laptop builders. Everything is too, like, because it's such a small form factor, everything has to be like bespoke to the chassis. So I mean, MSI, Asus, Acer, you know, it just kind of depends on your budget. I can say I've had an Asus TUF laptop for a while, like a couple years now, and I've had pretty good luck with it. Okay, this one still felt cross-threaded. There we go. That went in right that time. All right, motherboard is installed. So, let's get this guy up here. Shook my whole table, this thing's heavy. We'll switch y'all around. And let's get Lazy Susan out here. Am I gonna be playing Warzone tonight? I don't think so. I just got my new golf simulator and all the stuff I need for it, so I'm probably gonna be hopping on that tonight, getting it set up. My son just used the Okanos walnut case. Yeah, dude, I really like Okanos stuff. I actually have a video going out as soon as I make a thumbnail for it on an Okanos case. They're really good. 7700 XT or a 5070 is GPU. I mean, the 5070 is going to beat out the 7800 XT by a long ways, so I wouldn't do that. And then the 9700X and the 7700X are pretty similar in price, I think. So, you know, might as well go up a little bit. What up, White Meta? You watched my last stream? Thank you. This is gonna have a 5070 Ti in it. Yeah, the screwdriver, it's the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver. I really like it. Okay, we've got one rear fan to install. I'm gonna do that now while there's just nothing in the case, and it'll make it really easy. I have a Dow 1300 watt PSU is a good option. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having an oversized power supply. Nothing bad will happen if your power supply is grossly oversized. Let me start with that. A 1000 watt power supply though is plenty for a 5080. So, you know, if you want to spend the extra money for a 1300 watt and, you know, maybe upgrade to like a 7090 or something down the road, whatever, that is perfectly okay. And you will not experience any problems with that, but you don't need a 1300 watt power supply. The 9070 XT is definitely better. Price-wise though, the 9070 XT is quite a bit more now, because the 5070s you can find for 600 bucks again. Like you can find most of a lot of the Nvidia GPUs right now you can find at MSRP. Not every model, but a lot of the GPUs you can find a model that is at MSRP. Come on. Line up. Can we build my first PC Clue? I have no idea what to do after building it and installing. I have a full-length YouTube video on what to do. It's a little bit older now, so it might not look quite as good, but I have a full-length video on my YouTube on what to do after you build a new PC. You custom built yours and it lasted 12 years. That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, today, like, everything is so small and bespoke that, like, there's not really a good way to do that. The only thing that's close, in my opinion, is you going to Framework. Framework is a company that has laptops that are designed to be repairable and like upgradable. So if that's something that's important to you, I would look at framework. I don't remember what they have in terms of options for discrete GPUs if you're wanting to game on it. But if that's what you're looking for, is somewhere that you can upgrade it and fix it over time. You can even like change the IO on it. Framework is definitely the only place I would recommend for something like that. All right, HD audio. Going in over here. Okay. And we'll wrap that up. Ooh, knife's getting slid around by this stuff. Okay. USB-C. Where's our USB-C at on here? Right up there. I think we're gonna run it back up through here a little bit. Maybe even back up through this guy. Okay. Get our USB-C out here. Okay. Do I recommend a BIOS update? Yes. I mean, like, depending on how old your PC is, you know, you don't necessarily need to update the BIOS like, you know, every month or anything like that, but updating the BIOS on a pretty regular base, semi-regular basis, like every 6 months to a year, I would say is a good idea. That is one of the reasons that people are potentially having issues when they try and enable secure boot on their PC to play Battlefield, is because they have a really out-of-date BIOS. Okay, got our USB 3 in there. Don't forget to install a 5.5-inch floppy drive. Sorry, don't have any of those. What up, Riper? How are we doing? From Indonesia, welcome in. What up, Mean Dean? When I did my first build, the OS/BIOS and GPU updates were the most nerve-wracking part of the whole thing. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the BIOS, yeah, is like, the only reason it's scary is because like people tell you it's scary, right? Like, they're like, careful, you could ruin your computer if you do this wrong. And that's like the scary part about it. I've never bricked a motherboard updating the BIOS, so I think I have a pretty good track record to not be scared of it anymore. Plus, I obviously know how to rebuild it with a new motherboard if needed. Let's actually go over here. Okay, so that's everything in the PC at the moment is plugged in. I'm gonna put a little zip tie on this guy real quick, just to kind of hold all this stuff together nice and neat. Okay, all that stuff is plugged in and ready to go. Let's get some power cables going. I tried to do one, but for some reason my PC never found the USB driver with the BIOS. You may have your USB drive in the wrong format. That's probably the first thing I would check. And I mean, yeah, you definitely need to make sure that you're getting the BIOS file from your exact motherboard model. That is definitely important. Where are all the bolts at for this thing? Not in there, not in there. In here? Yes, they are. Okay. My new AOCE pre-built PC, when I just plugged it in for the first time, automatically opened the Windows desktop and I can't log it out or go to the settings or anything. That sounds bad. If you bought a pre-built and it's not working, send it back before you can't. Maybe you should buy one from me instead. Although I don't know if you're in the US, but. Oh, these things are, stickers are so bad. Yeah, there's a lot of big companies out there that sell pre-builts that are just trash. They put trash components in, like for the ones that people don't know what they are. They don't have good build quality. They don't have good quality control, making sure that the system's actually working right. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Okay. For most PCs, there's only one way to update the BIOS, and that's by opening up the BIOS with a flash drive installed and doing it that way. Okay, let's see. Don't need any of that stuff. Don't need that. Need that. This is CPU power. Should also be CPU power. Good. Need this. You have to use a USB in most cases. I mean, you could download the BIOS file onto your main drive and put it at like the root folder of your C drive, but I think it's probably much easier for people to just put it on a flash drive. I think most people would have a much better time doing that. I wouldn't use BIOS flashback with the PC turned off. I would just do it through the BIOS itself. That way you can see the progress and see what's going on. Yeah, you want FAT32. Let's see. I play Warzone on mouse and key. The thing is, the motherboard never found the USB. So even if I have the BIOS, do you have it in the motherboard and not in the case, or not? Yeah, not in the case USB as well. Let's do it over there. Okay. Are those even going to reach the power supply? Let's see. Yeah, I guess those will reach. Okay. There's just so much room for cable management. I love it. All these built-in cable ties too. That's so good. So good. Love everything about it. I mean, I guess that's what you get when you buy a giant case, but it's really nice. Okay, so we got all that. Let's get our motherboard power in here. What motherboard do I have? My personal gaming PC has, or are you asking him? You're probably asking him. A lot of the time you have to rename the file as well. If you're doing it through the through like the BIOS, you usually don't have to rename your file. It's pretty much only if you're doing flashback. Guys, the cable management on this PC is gonna be so easy. Look at that. All right. Motherboard power. Come on. CPU power. Come on. There we go. Need to take that sticker off. There we go. Okay. Let's get our GPU power in there. You put USB on BIOS section on the motherboard. Is my build schedule full this week? Nope. This is the only build I had this week. How we doing, Pineapple? This was the only build we had on the docket this week. I mean, I guess it's the end of the week, but. Yo, MJ, thank you so much for the gifts. Is the 49 close to MSRP or such? I mean, MSRP was what? What was MSRP on the 4090? Originally, was it like 1,600 bucks? 1,500 bucks? I mean, if you can get one for that's like basically new or new for 1,500. I'd say it's probably still worth it. Because you're not going to find a 5090 for less than 2,000. Do you ever pre-start to check if everything works? I don't, Husk. I know some people do that. It's a lot of extra time, and my track record of things working, and the speed at which I can rebuild a PC just lends itself to not like having to like force myself to rebuild it every single time I build a PC, you know. Okay, we got all that in there. And I guess since we're not running the CPU power over to the right, we can zip tie this guy up. CPU is in the let's hit 100 mood, trying to load OBS now. It's time to rebuild. Are you building it yourself, or are you looking to have me build you a sexy PC? You're hoping to wait a little longer? Yeah, that's fair. I have to rule mine tomorrow because I don't know what is wrong with it. That's after taking it to a shop. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. You're going to email it popped on my TikTok? All right, well, hit me up. I actually just updated. We're still working out the kinks on some of the some of the stuff on the website, but I actually just updated all of my pre-built PCs on my website too. Not sure if you want custom or want one of those, but those are also updated. All the parts and stuff are updated and everything, and the prices, just some of the way it was showing up on the website was a little funky. Okay. All that stuff's in, all that stuff's cable managed so far. We can probably clean this up a little bit later, but for now, I think we're ready to put our CPU cooler in here. What do my builds start at? The cheapest one that I have for gaming is the starter PC on my website. After shipping and stuff, I think it's like a little over $900, depending on if you buy the Intel or the AMD model. Building gives you anxiety. Does the 49 performance-wise technically still beat all the 50 series cards, even with the super versions coming out? I mean, we don't know anything about the super versions. It does not beat the 5090, but if you're looking at 4K performance at least, the 4090 does beat out all the 50 series. And I mean, there's not really a good reason to buy that high end of a card if you're not going to be playing in 4K. Like if you're playing in 1440p, you might as well just buy like a 5080 or a 9070 XT or 5070 Ti. Okay, let's route some of these cables to the back. Come on. No, this thing is like not connected to the actual cable. It's just sliding around. Okay. Okay. All those back there. Okay. I don't have issues building. I've just rebuilt mine a million times now and I have an issue. Yeah. But it's more of like the annoyance of like having a problem and you don't know what it is, right? I'm guessing it was formatted with a single partition then. If you tried resetting the CMOS, look at this. Look at this live chat helping each other out, love it. What up, Kyle? What motherboard brand did Husk say he has? Not much, Claude. How are you? I'm just building a sexy stealth PC. A pretty much zero RGB build here. Okay, it's all on there. Throw this top back on. Cool. We've got this guy, is gonna go right there. Okay, let's get our thermal paste out. I'm gonna grab a paper towel. New motherboard on the way, nice. You would be cool with no RGB and people don't believe you? Hey, I mean, I've built quite a few no RGB PCs. Definitely saves you a few bucks. Okay. For my personal builds, like, I've had RGB on them, but I never like go out of my way or spend extra money just to get RGB. Just kind of like, if it happens, if the components happen to be like the same price and have RGB, then I'll get it. Or if it's the component I really want. Okay. Let's patch those nice and clean. Didn't end up with too much on my fingers, just a little bit. Okay. It's about $180 to have it hardware tested, said everything was fine to get it back and it won't start. Jeez. You're stepping up from AM4 to AM5 tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, most of the time, like, my computers are not somewhere like where they're displayed anyways. So even if they did have like fancy RGB everywhere, nobody would really see it unless I happen to like be looking directly at them. But come on. I did get this started. Okay. Boom. There we go. Got that. Now route this to the back. Like that. And route it back through to our AO pump fan header. Okay, got that. Yo, Claude, thank you for the 369. So you didn't test it because it ran fine and told them it was randomly crashing. Yeah, exactly, Panda. I feel the same way. I'm just like, you know, nobody sees it. I mean, for me anyways, I was like, I'm building cool PCs all the time, so I don't feel like I need to show mine off at all. I can live vicariously through all the awesome PCs I build. Okay, got that. All right, now we need our 3-to-1 cable. Nice, Goth. I love that. I don't want to spend money, but I may have to. Just sucks. I spent like 80 bucks on a case and they can't give me the right stuff. Oh yeah, if your standoffs are some are taller than others, that's definitely bad for the motherboard. Sorry, I didn't see that comment earlier. Definitely want to get that sent back and replaced with proper standoffs. I've heard of like missing standoffs, like not having enough. I've never seen standoffs of different heights. That's wild. Okay, got all that through there. Okay, got all that. 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 This guy, I think we can't stick right there. Perfect. Okay. Now let's do this USB 2 cable. Can we collab someday? I mean, you can email me and talk about what you're wanting to do. The cat steals the show. Nice. Yeah, I love seeing animals, people's streams. AM5 is probably going to continue after the release though. Yeah, I had heard 2027 for AM5, but you never know. You never really know. Okay, this thing is really long, so we definitely can go through this way. Okay. We're gonna run this over here. Let's figure out where our USB 2.0 parts are. They're right there. Just like that. Boom. Okay, we can tie all that together. All right, that is all plugged in and connected. Got a little LCD screen there. I kind of feel like I should have ran this over there. Calling an audible. Here we go. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that better. I like that a lot. Okay, cool. What do we think of that, chat? Looking pretty sexy. Hmm? Clean, thank you. Have you ever built in the H9 Flow? Yes, it's been a minute, but I have built in that a while ago. Trade your kid for a 6600. What was the first game everyone played when they built or got their first PC? Oh gosh, I don't know. That would have been like 2000. It was probably like, honestly, it wasn't even technically a gaming PC. But the first game I think I played on PC was Sim Tower. Or it might have been like the built-in ones that used to come with Windows. Like, oh, what were those called? I mean, there was like Minesweeper. There was like the pinball game, like Space Pinball. Definitely played that a good bit. That's pretty cool. Little magnet. I'm gonna see, I don't think this guy, well, I could put it here, I guess. Should be able to support the GPU from there. I don't know, my dad was an engineer, his friend built them with him, so I was like 8. Nice. AL pump could be better on downward pipes. Oh, you can only mount this in this orientation or 180 degrees with this specifically AIO. They don't give you much flexibility with that one. Fine, I'll take all these out. Just trying to get all the plastic off this GPU so I can install it. A lot of freaking plastic on this thing. There we go. Our honkin' giant RTX 5070 Ti. Yo, what up, Husk? Thank you for the 249. My personal rig, my gaming PC has a 9600X, Ryzen 5 9600X, and a 4070 Ti Super, all of which is water cooled. It's got like the front panel of the case is removed. It's a fish tank case, the Lelio 11 Dynamic XL. The front panel is removed and replaced with a reservoir pump slash distribution plate. And then I've got dual 360 millimeter radiators in it from EK water blocks for just for the CPU now. And then I've got a couple terabytes of storage in it and a bunch of Noctua fans. Don't laugh, but I primarily only play Farming Simulator. Hey, let's go. I know one of my partners, one of my PC partners, plays a lot of Farming Simulator. Prestige. Okay, that closed. Tomb Raider, let's go. Yeah, I've got a pretty cool build. I used to have a Ryzen 9 7950X, and I swapped out for the 9600X when I was having some problems. And between me and the guy I was working with to try and diagnose it, we could not figure out what was wrong with it. So I was like, well, I'll get a nice budget-friendly CPU and see if that fixes it, and it didn't. Turned out I had a dead capacitor on my motherboard that was causing intermittent issues. So that was fun. But Asus repaired it, so it's all good now. Okay, come on. Okay, got that plugged back in. Yo, what up, D-Woods? Am I familiar with the Rodecaster? I mean, I know about it, but I've never used one. So I don't know that I could say I'm familiar with it necessarily. Okay, that looks pretty level there. Okay, so we got our little GPU support there in the corner, keeping that baby up. Put all of these guys back in. Interestingly enough, this Asus TUF 5070 Ti actually has two HDMI ports along with the three display ports, which usually you only get one HDMI. Pretty cool. Okay, so now I want to pull this back through, get the excess cable length out of there. And then, how do we want to do this? Do something like this. we go. That is cable managed. There's the back, looking pretty nice. And let's check out the front. There we go. And there it is from the front, ladies and gents. How do we feel about that? Just nice and clean from the front. Got those front fans. Got the 3 fans on top, another one in the back. If he really wanted to, we could have put extra fans on the bottom. There's really no need for it. Just built your RTX 5070 recently? Nice. Love to hear that. It's been giving me a run for my money, setting it up the way I wanted to split audio and OBS. Wasn't sure if you had any tips. Yeah, I've never used it, so I don't really have any tips for you, unfortunately, on the Rodecaster. The 50 Super Series price leaks went out yesterday, so it shouldn't be too long. Yeah, originally it was supposed to be like next year, but now they're talking about it being like before Christmas and stuff, so we'll see. You could fit a whole ITX PC under that. Dude, right? Look at how much room that is. That's like 7-8 inches. It's huge. This is a huge case. You have a spider? That's wild. Planning for your first PC build? Love to hear that. What up, Deadfish? Where can I buy that rotating support plate? The actual Lazy Susan part of it, I bought off Amazon forever ago. And then this is like a stool top thing that I bought at Home Depot and painted black. That's all it is. So look up, it's like a 20-inch Lazy Susan with like ball bearings and everything. It's like a little metal thing on there, and then this is just a round piece of wood that I got. What streaming source do I use for my streams? I'm using OBS right now. At some point, I'm hoping to switch over to Meld, but just haven't gotten to that yet. I don't think they have all of the features I'm looking for yet. I need to check back in and see if that's something that, if they have everything now. How much did all this cost? For me to build it and ship it, it was around $2,900. So that's all the parts cost, build fee, installing Windows, updating all the drivers, updating the BIOS, packing it all up in like a double box situation, and then shipping it out. Yo, thank you for the $10, Riper. About to build a PC for someone. What would some good advice be to not mess up? Like, don't forget about cable management or something of the sort. Yeah, definitely focus on cable management from the moment you start your build. I find it so much easier if you sit there and like, even if you kind of like have to like undo and redo straps a bunch, I find it so much easier to like start working on cable management like from the very beginning. I would say that's the big thing. Make sure everything is plugged in and fully seated. You know, it's gonna be really hard to find an issue if something's like half plugged in. Yeah, what up, Cash Money? Building your first PC soon? Let's go. Just so much room for activities. So much. Personally feel like parts should have after warranty because it's like I swear the warranty is too early to use because I swear we end up messing something up right as the warranty ends. Planned obsolescence. Welcome to the world we live in. Decent GPU, man. Still rock. Great FPS, yeah. Leak's been out for a while, yeah. Do you think more ports on the GPU would make it better? It doesn't make it better. It's more convenient, especially if you have like, you know, if you're using like a TV or something for one of your like PC monitors, or, you know, if you have some like cheaper monitors that don't have display ports on them, like you now have 2 HDMIs available, which is like, it's expensive, costs money. I meant to do that, not that. I think I'm gonna go with a 5700X and a 9060 XT. Personally, I would go with AM5 Get like a, you know, a 7700X, 9700X, or if those are out of your budget, maybe like an 8400F or something to that. I would spend a little bit of extra money and go AM5. So that way you have DDR5, you have the AM5 socket, which is going to be supported for a long time. You're going to have much faster speeds, you know, much more compatibility. I would spend a little bit extra money and go AM5. Okay, who wants to see this thing turn on? I've been sitting here talking to you guys, and nobody has yelled at me yet to turn it on. I guess it's not going to be that exciting because there's no RGB, but... Favorite emoji in the chat if you want to see me turn this thing on. You should move to Canada because you can get Asus Prime RX 9070 XT. Yeah, but see, then I would have to live in Canada. That's the problem. What am I going to do with all my guns? And I really like the freedom that we have. Not to be controversial. There are freedoms that we have here in the US that Canada just doesn't have. I'm not going to go any further than that. Canada is a great place. I have friends that are in Canada. I love them. They have lived in Canada their whole lives, and every country has its own problems. We'll just leave it at that. Can you tell me again which CPUs I should go with again? It depends on your budget. Ideally, instead of the 5700X, get the 9700X. If you can't fit that in your budget, find a cheaper AM5 CPU. Yo, what up, Walking Phoenix? All right, we got some emojis in the chat. Panda Plays, what's up? Yo, what up, Kelly? Good to see you. I'd have to live in Canada. Is that mean to say? Best thing about Canada, Tim Hortons. I do want to try their coffee. Canada is also beautiful. There's no doubt about that. What's the best air cooler? Good clearance between GPU and CPU cooler for the 9800X 3D? Oh God. Like the biggest, most powerful cooler you can find. Noctua has the NHD15. Thermalright has a couple. I don't remember the names. Like, look at like Thermalright and Be Quiet and just find their like absolutely top-end CPU cooler model, and that's what you should get. Air cooling with the 9800X 3D is going to be tough. Yeah, I hear that, Kelly. All right, we'll stop getting distracted. First ever power on of this PC. As a reminder, we've got the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. We've got 4 terabytes of storage, RTX 5070 Ti. The Thermalright Ultra Vision CPU cooler, 48 gigs of RAM. Asus's ROG Strix Z890-H gaming Wi-Fi. 1000 watt power supply from Asus as well. The NZXT H7 Flow 2024 version. And yeah, that's it. HydroShift is a very premium product. It's really nice. It's good quality. The software with it is amazing. You're paying, in some ways, you're paying for the brand, you're paying for the aesthetics of it, and then you're paying for the software, in my opinion. You're not paying for like incredibly better performance. You're paying for all of like the non-performance aspects that go along with Lian Li's product. Canada's a place that shouldn't be living in, more so just to visit and vacate, maybe? That's fair. Yeah, Peerless Assassin is a solid one. They have like, yeah, the really big 2-fan Peerless Assassin from Thermalright. You guys are on it. You guys don't even need me. Why am I even here? And then I think that Peerless Assassin is only like 40 bucks or something probably. But none of those really big CPU coolers are going to have incredible clearance from your GPU. That's just like, if you're going air cooling and you need to cool a 9800X 3D, that thing is going to be big. There's no way around it. Yeah, Thermalright stuff is so, like, look at this one. This is a freaking LCD screen on it. It's a 360 millimeter AIO, works super well. And it's what? I think this was like 85 bucks? 85 bucks for that. And the RGB version was basically the same price, but he wanted the non-RGB version. An LCD screen on your 360mm AIO for like under $90. It's crazy. I don't know how Thermalright makes any money. I just don't know. Yeah, I have Thermalright on my pre-builds. I think there's a Thermalright CPU cooler on basically every single one. Basically every single one. You have the FW240 with the screen. Yeah, that's a great one. And I mean, and if you like don't care about having a screen and you just want an RGB AIO, the V4 for the Aqua Elites are literally like $50. It's crazy. The Tropheo Vision, it's their answer to the Trix Panorama. Oh, I haven't even seen that yet. You enjoyed seeing me get back in Warzone with Rybot? I know, it had been a hot minute since I played with him. Or played anything, to be honest. I went like 2 months without playing a single video game. It was crazy. Yeah, what do we think of this, you guys? It's a pretty cool build. Lots of ASUS stuff in there. Lots of room for activities. I mean, look at this. I can just like, my fist just fits between every component. Look at that. Oh, don't touch the fan. It's crazy. Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 is great. It's a great product. Absolutely zero concerns with that. I know, now I want to go look at the Tropheo, man. RGB equals more FPS. That's, you know, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. Yeah, how much is the price on the Tropheo? If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess it's their only AIO that's over $100. That's my projection. 144. I mean, that's less than half the price of the Trix. That's almost a third. Like, it's slightly over a third of the price of the Trix Panorama for some of their models, depending on which one you get. Sick. It's got a big screen on it. Is it panoramic too? Like, is it like a wraparound screen, or is it just like a big screen? Intel 3770 and RX 560. Nice. You still able to play your games on that? That's definitely an aging system. Is an ASUS TUF 5070 Ti worth it? $935. I don't know that I would, like, unless you really need like the extra ports or you just really like the look of it, you can get a different 5070 Ti for $800. They're all gonna perform within a couple of % of each other as long as they work. I mean, I've had issues with brands before, but in terms of performance, I don't think that's worth it. If you're in the US, it's like $799 for base models. So I personally wouldn't pay the extra $100+ for the ASUS TUF. I think it looks good. I had this one in stock already, so that's why we used this one, but yeah, I think it is what it is. 6.86 Pano, let's go. Getting a secure boot violation error and it does not want to boot. I would clear your CMOS and reboot. I would go through and make sure you have CSM in the BIOS. I would make sure you have CSM turned off. I would make sure you have TPM 2.0 turned on because that's a requirement for Windows 11. I would make sure your BIOS is updated. You definitely want to make sure your BIOS is up to date. You actually want to do that before you do the other things. And then try it again and see if it works. Dude, that sounds so good, Mean Dean. I'm excited to see that. Do you have any options for a 1440p OLED monitor around 240 Hertz? Trying to get a main monitor for gaming and a bit of production here and there. The cheapest one that I saw on like PC Part Picker, which for monitors is not necessarily the best place to look. The Samsung Odyssey has a 240 hertz OLED for like 600 bucks. OLEDs are just expensive, but yeah, that's a pretty good option. Dude, I wish I could go to I want to go to Micro Center. I'm probably gonna go again this year when I go to Loot Fest in March. Next year, I guess. 833, that's not bad. I've had a couple of bad experiences with Zotac. I try to avoid them when I can. But that's out of like, I've probably built with 30 Zotac GPUs and I've had like 2 that have had issues, like pretty early, like premature failures. So I don't think there's any problem with buying a Zotac. It's just the one that has had the worst issues with me. Same with like G-Skill RAM. I've had the most issues with G-Skill RAM over the years. Most of that was in like the DDR4 days, but you know, some of those things just stick with you. Tofia looks like it won't clear big RAM sticks, like the dominant. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is a pretty tight space if it doesn't stick out far enough. Let's use PG27. There you go. Going to Micro Center tomorrow. There you go. Yeah, my nearest Micro Center is 12-hour drive for me, so won't be going there anytime soon. How are you gonna buy from me, Panda, if you go to Micro Center though? Three hours? That's not too bad. Like you could do that like if you have like a designated like thing that you need to get and you're not just like window shopping. Like I would make the 3-hour drive to a Micro Center if it meant like getting stuff for a good price and having lots of options. All right, y'all. I think that's the end of the stream. Yeah, make it a fun day trip. Yeah. Well, hit me up and, you know, we can see how fast we can turn something around for you. I mean, obviously, like, you'll have to wait for, like, the shipping times. But I think we could get something out for you pretty fast. This PC was ordered, like, I think around a week ago. And it's already done. So, yeah. Shoot me a message and let me know, like, what your budget is and stuff that you're looking for. And I can give you an idea of how long it would take to get to you. Because we might be able to turn it around really quick, depending on what parts we use. And it'll be good build quality. Can't always get that from everywhere. Last question, would you say an MSI 5070 Ti? Yes. 780 is great. Yeah, shoot me an email and let's chat about it. Okay. Thank you all so much for hanging out. You're welcome, Maine. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate everyone chatting and all of you guys who are helping each other out in the chat. I love to see that. I can't always see every message. I've got 5 different chats up that I'm trying to read, and some of you guys are chatting quickly. So appreciate you guys helping each other out and chatting with me, hanging out, making it fun, making it exciting, giving me a hard time when it applies. And we'll see you on the next one. All right. You all have a great night. Happy weekend. Happy Friday. We will see you later. And thank you especially to everyone who donated on the stream today. I appreciate y'all. Okay, bye. Bye, 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 bye. Hey, thank you too, Riper. Appreciate